Alright, so we're going to go up now onto vertical addition and subtraction 4. So let's go up to page number 9 here. It says if there are 10 or more hundreds, you have to regroup 10 of them together as 1,000 and move it into the thousands column. Leftover hundreds will stay in the hundreds column. Okay, so let's look at this. Well, we've gone over the previous topics before, so I see that 10 ones is equal to 110. I also know that 10 tenths is equal to 100, and we just mentioned that 10 hundreds is equal to 1,000. So if I look about exactly what I have right here, I see 4 thousands, 16 hundreds, 3 tens, and 1 1. Alright, so what I'm going to do, and what we've circled here in the thousands, and we have the thousands, there's 4, and the hundreds, I see that we have more than 10. So what I can do is I can group 10 of them together and make 1,000, as I mentioned previously. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to group those together. How many do I have left now? I've boxed up the leftover ones. It looks like I have 6 left over. So now the tens and the ones we were not able to regroup. So now let's count up on the left side again exactly what I have left. So now I have 5 thousands, I have 6 hundreds left over, I still have 3 tens, and I still have 1 1, which means that my final answer is going to be 5,631. So let's move on down now, and so let's move on to the first example. I'm going to count what I have again. Looks like I have 2 thousands, I have 12 hundreds, 0 tens, and 2 ones. So I see again that I can regroup in the hundreds place, but I cannot regroup in the tens or ones because there's not 10 or more. So I'm going to regroup in the hundreds place. So I'm going to box 10 of those up again, and I'm going to move 1,000 into the thousands column. So now if I total them up, I have 3 thousands, I have 2 hundreds left over, I still have 0 tens, and I still have 2 ones. So my final answer is going to be 3,202. So now looking at page 10, we're going to go into that very first problem right there on the left side. So I have 1,000s, 1,400s, 2 tens, and 15 ones. So we need to look for any kind of regrouping possibilities. I see that I can regroup with the 15 ones. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take 10 away from that because there is 10 or more. And I'm going to have 5 ones left over. When I take 10 ones away, it means I can add 1 into the tens column. So now I have the plus 1 there, so 2 plus 1 makes 3 tens. So I have 5 ones and 3 tens. I still am going to have my 1,400s, and I'm still going to have my 1,000. So now, can I regroup again? Well, let's take care of the ones, and we'll take care of the tens as well. So now we're back at the hundreds. At the hundreds place, I have 14 now. That's obviously 10 or more, so I can regroup there as well. I can take 10 away from the hundreds and add 1 back into the thousands. So if I have 1,400s and I take 10 away, I'm left with 4. And if I add 1 into the thousands place, I already had 1, so 1 plus 1 makes 2. So my final answer is going to be 2,435. Alright, so we're back now on page 11. I'm going to do problem number 1. So I see 4,626 plus 1,880. So we're going to break down this addition problem by placing everything in the correct place value. So for 4,626, that means there are 4,000s, 600s, 2 tens, and 6 ones. And for 1,880, that means there is 1,000, 800s, 8 tens, and 0 ones. So now that I've got these things lined up, I'm going to just add the columns down. So for the ones column, I see 6 ones and 0 ones, that makes 6 ones. For the tens, I see 2 tens and 8 tens, that makes 10 tens. For the hundreds, I see 6 plus 8 makes 14. And for the thousands, I see 4 and 1, and that adds up to 5. So we need to see, can we do any regrouping? Basically that means, does anything have 10 or more in it? Well, the ones column does not, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the ones as 6. That's not going to change. Now with the tens, there is 10 or more, so I can group 10 of them together and add 1 into the hundreds column. So when I take away 10 tens, I'm going to be left with 0 tens. Now, since I've added 1 into the hundreds column, that adds up to a total of 15 hundreds. Again, can I do regrouping? Yes, I see 15 hundreds, so I can regroup that. I want to take 10 away from that, and I want to add 1,000 into the thousands column. So if I take 10 hundreds away, I'm going to be left with 5 hundreds. and I'm going to add 1 into the thousands column, so that's going to make a total of 6 thousands. So my final answer is going to be 6,506. Alright, I'm going to finish up with page 14. So let's do number 1 over here. I see 9,284 plus 534. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add up my ones column. So I see 4 and 4. That makes a total of 8. There's no regrouping there because it's not 10 or more. So let's move on to our tens column. I see 8 plus 3. That adds up to 11. So I'm going to put a 1 down there in the tens column below it. And I'm going to put a 1 up in the hundreds column, because remember, 10 tens is equal to 100. So if I now have a 1, and so I'm going to now add all my hundreds together. I'm going to add 2 and 5, and don't forget the 1 you've carried up there. And so I'm going to regrouped up there. So I have 1, 2, and 5. Those are going to add up to 8. That's not, still again, that is not 10 or more, so I'm just going to add my thousands column together. I just have 9, so I'm going to bring down the 9, so my final answer is 9,818.